Good day, everyone. I am Maria Stephanie Bernabe, and I will introduce my member, Trisha, Rachel, Rayalyn, and Aisel. And we are the Group 6. And our topic for today is Language Teaching Strategies for Mother Tongue. Lesson 5, Language Teaching Strategies for Mother Tongue. Lesson 5 is subdivided into four lessons, where each lesson highlights the macro skills of communication, listening and viewing, reading, speaking, and writing. Each sub-lesson touches the different language domains related the macro skill, the specific language competencies in the curriculum guide for mother tongue, and the teaching and learning strategies that you can use in teaching the macro skills. So, lesson 5 is all about language teaching strategies for mother tongue. So it says lesson 5 is subdivided into four subject lessons where the macro skill of communication are highlighted. So what exactly are the four subject lessons that are highlighted? The first one is the listening. It's belong because the skill is fundamental for oral communication and it's often the first language skills we develop. It involves understanding spoken language, interpreting tone and context and responsibility appropriately. The second one is viewing its highlights because this skill involved interpreting and understanding visual media such as image, video, diagrams, and body language. It's crucial in today's digital age where visual communication is prevalent. For the third is reading help us to understand more, and reading it's the ability to understand written text. It's involved recognizing letters and words, understanding grammar and context, and inferring meaning. It's a primary way we learn and absorb information. The lastly is speaking and writing are important skills for effective communication. They serve different purposes and have their own unique challenges. Developing profi- proficiency in both areas can enhance over overall communication abilities and enable individual to express themselves clearly and confidently in different situations. So each lesson touches every different language domains related to macro skills, and remember that it can be teaching learning strategies that you can use in teaching the macro skills. Lesson 5.1, Language Teaching and Learning Strategies for Listening and Viewing. Lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to accrue strategies for teaching listening and viewing, discussing between bottom-up and top-down models of listening, categories listening skills and activities as involve bottom-up or top-down approaches, design activity for selected listening and design activities that target the development of viewing skills. Analyze. An early view of listening saw it as the mystery of discrete skills or macro skills. E.G. Richards 1983, a skill approach, on the other hand, focused on the development of such thing as Rose 1990, discriminating sounds in words, especially phonic construct, deducting the meaning of unfamiliar words, predicting content, nothing contradiction, inadequate information, ambiguities, and different thing between fact and opinion. Applied linguistic theories, bottom-up and top-down models of processing to explain the nature of listening. We can see here the importance of prior knowledge in comprehension. According to Richard, in year 1983, he said that an early saw it has the mystery of discrete skills or micro skills, and for Rose in year 1990, that skills approach on the other hand focus on the development of such things. The the top the bottom up processing model suggests the listening starts with the listener receiving auditory input, which is the broken down into smaller components such as phonemics and syllables. These components are gradually built up into large unit of meaning, such as word, pa- phrases, and sentence to achieve understanding. On the other hand, the top-down processing model, that listening involves more than just the mechanical processing of sound. It suggests that comprehension also heavily relies on the listener's prior knowledge, expectation, and consent. The next reporter po is Miss Krisha.
Good day, everyone. I'm Krisha May Ramos, and I will continue the discussion. Bottom-up processing. The bottom-up processing focus on helping students to understand the details and components of spoken or visual input before integrating them into larger contexts. Bottom-up processing can be beneficial for students in various ways. For example, understanding fundamental concept. It helps students grasp basic concept by starting with a simple, concrete information and gradually building up to more complex ideas. Next is skill development. Student can develop skills step by step, mastering each component before moving to the next. For example, in learning a language, bottom-up processing involves first learning individual words and then combining them into the sentences, and also building knowledge. Bottom-up processing facilitates the accumulation of knowledge by starting with specific details and gradually integrating them into broader conceptual framework. And lastly, critical thinking. It encourages students to observe and analyze and evaluate information critically rather than relying solely on preconceived notions or assumptions. Next slide po. Top-down processing. Top-down processing is a cognitive approach where perception begins with a pre-existing knowledge, expectations, and context, guiding the interpretation of sensory information. In other words, it involves using higher level cognitive processes to make sense of incoming sensor data. Here's how it's work. Example, existing knowledge and expectation. Prior knowledge, belief, experiences, and expectation play a significant role in shaping perceptions. These factors serve as a framework through which incoming sensory information is interpreted. Contextual information. The surrounding context provides valuable cause for understanding sensory input. This includes situational context, cultural norms, and social cues, and other environmental factors. For example, when listening to a speech in noisy environment, top-down processing involves using knowledge of the topic, linguistic context, and familiarity with the speaker's voice to help decipher unclear words or paraphrase. Top-down processing is crucial for tasks such as language comprehension, pattern recognition, problem solving, and decision making. It complements bottom-up processing, which involves starting with the basic sensory information and building up to higher level interpretation and understanding. Next slide po. So, bottom-up listening skills. Distinguishing individual sounds word boundaries, and stress syllables. This skill po involves being to different between individual sounds in spoken words, identify where one word ends and another begins, and recognize which symbolize within words are stressed. For example po, being able to hear the difference between the sounds B NP in words like bat and pat, understanding that butterfly is composed of two words, butter plus fly, and recognizing that the stress in banana falls on the second syllable. Next po is identifying thought groups. Thought groups are units of speech that contain a single complete idea or thought. Being able to identify this thought group helps listener understand the organization and flow of spoken discourse. For example po, in the sentence, I went to the store to buy some groceries. I went to the store and to buy some groceries could be identified as a separate thoughts groups. Next po is listening for intonation patterns in utterances. Intonation refers to the rise and falls of pitch in spoken language. Different intonation patterns can convey various meanings such as indicating a question, expressing surprise, or emphasize a particular word or phrase. Developing these skills involve recognizing and interpreting the intonation pattern used by speaker in different contexts. Next po is identifying grammatical forms and function. These skills naman po involve understanding the grammatical structures used in spoken language, including verb tense, nouns, pronouns, and other parts of speech. It also involves recognizing how these grammatical form function within sentences to convey meaning and relationship between ideas. And next is recognizing construction and connected speech. Contract contraction Construction are shortened forms of words that occur when certain sounds or letters are omitted in spoken language. Connected speech refers to the natural way in which words are linked together in spoken language, often resulting in changes in pronunciation and the blending of sounds. Next po is recognizing linking word. Linking words are also known as a discourage marker or connectors are words or purpose that help signal relationship between different parts of spoken discourse. Next, by developing this bottom-up listening skill, learners can improve their ability to understand spoken language more accurately and effectively, even in challenging or fast-paced communication situation. Top-down listening skill. Listening for these main ideas, topic, and setting of the text. This skill involves grasping the overall meaning or essence of spoken text without necessarily understanding every detail. It includes in identifying the main topic or subject of the conversation or lecture, as well as the general context or setting in which it takes place. Next po is listening for specific information. In contrast to listening for gist, this skill involves focusing on specific details or piece of information within a spoken text. It requires actively seeking out and understanding particularly facts, names, numbers, dates, or other relevant details po. Next po is sequencing the information. Sequencing involves organizing the information presented in a spoken text in logical order. This skill po requires listeners to understand the sequence of events, steps, or ideas presented by the speaker and to mentally arrange them into correct chronological or dynamic order. Prediction. Prediction involves using contextual cues, pure knowledge, and expectation to anticipate what will be said or happen next in spoken text. This skill po helps listeners stay actively engaged and mentally prepared for upcoming information, facilitating comprehension and reducing uncertainty. Next po is ghosting. Ghosting involves making educated guesses or hypotheses about the meaning of unfamiliar words, phrase, or concept based on context, linguistic clues, and prior knowledge. It allows listeners to fill in the gaps in their understanding and make sense of or unclear information. Inferencing involve drawing logical conclusion or making interpretations based on the information presented in the spoken text, as well as on background knowledge and contextual cues. It requires listener to go beyond the literal meaning the words and to make inference about the speaker intentions, attitudes, feeling, or implied message. Developing this top-down listening skill enables learners to approach listening comprehension strategically by focusing on understanding the overall meaning and purpose of the spoken text, as well as on extracting specific details and making connection between different parts of the discourse. These skills are particularly valuable for tasks such as academic listening, note-taking, and critical listening in various contexts. And that's all po. Thank you. Next reporter po is Acel.
Good day, everyone. I'm Aisel Austria, and I'm going to discuss the effective and active viewers as the question. So, understanding the viewing process is important. So, listening and reading process is also important. So, um, why they asking questions? So, because asking question helps viewers understand the content better. It allows them to clarify and confusion or ensuring they fully comprehend what they are viewing. Also, when viewers ask questions, they are actively engaging with the content. So, this active involvement increases their attention and focus, making the viewing experience more meaningful and memorable. Additionally, I think asking questions encourage critical thinking because viewers are not just passively absorbing information, they are analyzing, evaluating, and making connection. This helps them to understand the deeper meanings and form their own opinions. So, by asking questions is it helps them to think critically and understand better. So, next slide po. So, sabi dito is they also engage in the following procedure, which is the previewing, during viewing, after viewing, and responding. So, the procedure is a structured approach to interacting with visual content such as videos or films. Um, each stage has a specific purpose and helps students to engage more actively and effectively with the content. So, una na dito yung previewing. So, ang purpose nito is to prepare the student for the content they are about to view. So, this might involve setting learning objectives, activating prior knowledge, previewing the content, formulating question, and making prediction. So, the goal is to create a context that for new information, which can comprehension and engagement. For the second one is the during viewing. So, the purpose of this stage is to actively engage with the content. So the students might take notes, answer the question they formulated during the previewing stage, or make observation. The aim is to remain focused, understand the content, and connect new information to what they already know. And lastly, after viewing, the purpose of this stage is to reflect on the content and consolidate learning. This might involve summarizing the main content or applying the new knowledge in some way. The goal is to reinforce learning, deepen understanding, and integrate the new information into existing knowledge. So, this this three-stage procedure encourage active viewing, which can enhance learning and critical thinking skills. It turns the viewing process into an interactive experience rather than a passive one and helps students to get most out of the visual content. That's all my report. Next reporter, please.
Good day, everyone. I'm Rachel Banal. So, the next lesson is language teaching and learning strategies for speaking. Next slide po. So here are the lesson objectives. At the end of lesson, students are expected to characterize effective speech, effective speaker, and futures of speaking skills in their mother tongue. Analyze principles and current approaches to the teaching of speaking skills. Examine instructional activities for young learners in terms of their target competencies and language domains. Create an instructional activities that specifically targets one or more speaking competencies from the mother tongue curriculum guide and evaluate a peer's instructional activity using a scoring guide. Next slide po. So here are the abstract. Read the four-note card about principle and approaches in the teaching of speaking. Read each carefully. Fill out the synthesis matrix afterwards. Next po. So the first topic is proficiency proficiency oriented teaching of speaking skills. Hadley proposes 5 principles for proficiency oriented teaching. So first is opportunity. Opportunities must be provided for students to practice using the language in a range of contexts likely to be encountered in the target culture. To ensure students effectively learn a language, it's crucial to expose them to various situations mirroring those they'll face in the culture where the language is spoken. So this means creating opportunities for practicing language skills in scenarios like everyday conversation, workplace interactions, social gatherings, and more. So by offering such diverse contexts, students can develop not only linguistic proficiency but also cultural awareness and adaptability, which are essential for successful communication in real life settings within the target culture. So next is opportunity should be provided for students to carry out a range of action tasks necessary for dealing with others in the target culture. So it's important to provide students with opportunities to engage in various function or tasks required for effective communication in the target culture. So these tasks could include asking for direction, making introduction, expressing gratitude, negotiating prices, requesting information, or giving opinions, among others. By practicing this function, students develop the practical language skills needed to navigate everyday interaction in the target culture, to fostering their confidence and competence in real-life communication scenarios. The next is the development of accuracy should be encouraged in proficiency-oriented instructions as learners produce language varies from as instructions and evaluative feedback can be useful in facilitating the progression of their skills towards more precise and coherent language use. So, in proficiency-oriented language instruction, it's important to balance fluency with accuracy. While fluency focuses on effective communication, accuracy ensures correctness in grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, providing learners with different forms of instruction, such as grammar explanation and vocabulary practice. Help them understand language rules and apply them accurately. Additionally, giving evaluate feedback, whether through errors corrections or model language examples, guides learner towards more precise and current language use. Through these approaches, learners can gradually improve their accuracy while maintaining their communicative skills, leading to overall proficiency in the language. So the next is instruction should be responsive to the effective as well as the cognitive needs of students and their different personalities, preferences, preferences, and learning styles should be taken into. So this effective language instruction should be responsive to both the communicative and cognitive needs of students, while also considering their unique personalities, preferences, and learning styles. So this means tailoring teaching methods and materials to accommodate diverse learners. whether they are visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learners. To provide a various of activities and resource allows the students to engage with the materials in ways that suit their individual preferences and enhancing their understanding and attention. So the last is the cultural understanding must be promoted in a various ways so that students are sensitive to other cultures are prepared to live more harmoniously in the target language. So, promoting cultural understanding in various ways is essential for students to develop sensitivity towards other cultures and to foster harmonious interaction in the target language. So, this can be achieved through exposure to authentic culture materials such as literature, films, music, and art, to allowing students to gain insight into the values, beliefs, and tradition of different cultures. So, additionally, incorporating discussions, projects, and activities that explore cultural similarities and difference encourage students to appreciate diversity and develop empathy towards others. So, that's all po. The next supporter po si Realine.
So, good day everyone. I'm Rialin Arpaladan and I will continue the report. Number 2, current approaches to the teaching of speaking. Number 1 is speaking and oral interaction. Speaking and oral interaction is seen as the basis for learning. This emphasizes the importance of communication in language learning. It suggests that learners acquire language best through real-life conversation and interaction, rather than through rote memorization or grammar drills. Number 2, non-native usage, as well as native usage but serves as models. This suggests that both native and non-native speakers can provide useful models for language learners. This is quite progressive as it acknowledges the validity and usefulness of non-native speaker models, which can often be more relatable for learners. Number 3, uh, both accuracy and fluency. Both accuracy and fluency are primary goals with a great tolerance of errors. This indicates that the goal of learning is not just to speak without mistakes, but also to communicate effectively and fluently. Mistakes are seen as a natural part of the learning process, not something to be avoided at all costs. Uh, so next is oral proficiency. Oral proficiency is viewed as dependent upon mastery of lexical phrases and conversational routines. This suggests that being able to speak a language well is not just about knowing a lot of words and grammar rules. It's also about understanding how to use language in context, including common phrases and conversation patterns. Last is pair and group activities predominate in the classroom. This implies an emphasis on collaborative learning where students learn from each other as well as from the teacher. It also reflects the belief that communication is inherently social and therefore best learned in social settings. Uh, in summary, these points collectively suggest an approach to language learning that values communication, context, and collaboration over rote memorization and perfectionism. Next slide po. Number 3, case study on Singapore school te- teachings of Tamil language. Use local context-based materials so that the topics are familiar to the students. This suggests using teaching materials that are based on the students' local context and experiences. The idea is the students will better understand and relate to the language if it's used in contexts that are familiar to them. This could include using local news stories, cultural references, or everyday situations in the teaching materials. Second one is use domain-based vocabulary. That is word as they use in real everyday living. This point emphasizes the importance of teaching vocabulary that students will actually use in their daily lives, rather than focusing on abstract or academic vocabulary. The focus is on practical, everyday words and phrases. This could include language used in shopping, at work, at school, etc. Third one is use age-related content. That is, topics that are relevant to the students at the particular stage in life. This suggests tailoring the teaching materials to the students' age and life stage. For example, young learners might learn language through stories and games, while adults might learn through discussing current events or workplace scenarios. The idea is to make the language learning relevant and engaging for the students, whatever their age. In summary, this point suggests a learner-centered approach to language teaching, where the materials and methods are adapted to the student's context, needs, and interests. This approach aims to make language learning more meaningful and effective for the students. Next slide. Number 4, balance between fluency and accuracy in the teaching of speaking. According to Mazzozzi 2013, learners' activity should be designed based on the equivalent between fluency and accuracy achievement. Both fluency and accuracy are important elements of the communicative approach. This statement reiterates the importance of both fluency and accuracy in language learning. It suggests that teaching activity should aim to improve both aspects equally, as they are both crucial for effective communication. Fluency refers to the ability to speak smoothly and easily, while accuracy refers to the correctness of the language used. According to Hedge 2000, expresses that fluency is the ability to answer coherently by connecting the words and phrases, pronouncing the sounds clearly, and using stress and intonation. This definition expands on the concept of fluency. It's, not- it's not just about speaking quickly or without hesitation, but also, but also about speaking coherently and clearly. This includes being able to connect words and phrases logically, pronounce sounds clearly, and use stress and intonation appropriately to convey meaning. Number 3, the second characteristic of speaking performance is accuracy. Learners should pay enough attention to the exactness and the completeness of language form when speaking, such as focusing on grammatical structures, vocabulary, and pronunciation. To gain accuracy in terms of vocabulary means to select suitable words in the suitable context. This point emphasizes the importance of accuracy in language learning. Accuracy refers to the correctness of the language used, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. It also suggests that part of achieving accuracy in vocabulary is choosing the right words for the specific context. In summary, these points highlight the dual importance of fluency and, accuracy in language learning. They suggest that effective communication requires not just the ability to speak smoothly and easily, but also the ability to use language and correctly. So this is our report. Thank you for listening.